Alright lumberjacks, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up and use the terraforming mod for FS22. The first thing you guys need to do is go ahead and open up your keybinds, and you're going to scroll down till you find the terraform section and go ahead and set those up to whatever keys you guys want. Alright, so now that you've got your keybind set up, let's go ahead and talk about the different types of vehicles that are available for terraforming. So first up, you have your roller slash compactors. Now these are really good for like in small areas. They can flatten, smooth, and paint. Next up, we have our dozers. They are really good at moving material. They can flatten, smooth, and paint as well. Then you've got your excavators. These are really nice for moving piles of material. They can also flatten, smooth, and paint. And you've got your road graders, which are really good at making roads, but they can also move material. They can flatten, smooth, and paint the ground. And last but not least, you have your wheel loaders. These are also really great for moving material. Wheel loaders can also flatten, smooth, and paint the ground. So as you guys can tell, all these machines will pretty much do the same thing, but each machine has its own specific thing that it's better at. Alright, so now that we've talked about the different types of machines that are available for terraforming, let's go ahead and hop into one of them and let's go over the menu for the terraforming. Alright, so now that we're in a terraform capable vehicle, let's go ahead and open up the menu using the keybind that we set earlier. Now, when you guys open up this menu, you're actually going to have two different menus. Now, but the one we're going to focus on today is going to be the second one, which is right here. So looking at all these different options can be a little overwhelming, so I'm going to try my best to kind of go through them and break them down for you guys. Now, I would say that the five main ones that you guys need to change would be the disable paint, disable discharge, clear material, and then the material and the paint. Of course, it is your own personal choice which ones you guys have on or off, but those are the five main ones that I change. So I also want to mention that each machine has its own specific settings, so whatever I set for this machine won't carry over to the other machines. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the different options, and we're going to start at the top of the list and we're going to work our way to the bottom. Alright, so first up we have an option to enable or disable the terraforming for this vehicle. We also have an option to enable or disable the paint, which prevents painting new soil texture when terraforming. And then you have your disable discharge and your clear material. Discharge will prevent the creation of material during terraforming. Clear material will remove any material around the terrain deformation. So moving on down the list, we also have an option to remove decorations, weeds, and fields. Alright, so right below those two options, you also have your material density and the type of material that you get during terraforming. Now, I will say that I have never messed with the material density. I have no clue what it does, so if you guys want to mess with that and figure it out, feel free to. Now, I have changed the material type quite a bit. Now, generally on most maps, you have like 4 or 5 main material types. It's either stones, lime, manure, road salt, or snow. Now, on this map, there happens to be more than that. So we've got stones, coal, tailings, concrete, dirt, gravel, sand, so on and so forth. So this is just something for you guys to keep in mind. Not all maps are going to support all these different materials. They're just going to have the stones, manure, road salt, lime, and snow. So the second half of this page is going to be where you can change the radius and the strength of each of the modes. Generally, I'd leave all these on 100%, which is the default value. All right, so the last thing we're going to take a look at on this menu is going to be the paint layers. Now, I know I kind of got a little bit out of order. You know, I was going to start from the top and work my way to the bottom, but I wanted to leave this one to the very end just so I can kind of go over it a little bit more. Now, typically, I leave these on the same texture. So if I wanted my texture to be gravel, I'd set my terraform to gravel. And I would also set my discharge to gravel. Now, I don't really know the difference between the two. I just know that if they're both the same, then you shouldn't have any issues. Now, this is one of those things, if you guys want to mess around with and kind of figure out on your own, then feel free to, because I honestly don't know. All right, so now that we've got everything set up on this machine how we like it, we can start doing some terraforming. Now, when it comes to terraforming, there are countless amount of possibilities on how you can do it, between the different textures, whether you get material, you don't get material, whether you clear the weeds or the fields or the foliage. So I'm going to show you guys a couple examples that I use when I do terraforming. All right, so that was just a couple examples of the different functions. Like I said, there are endless possibilities. Those are just the ones that I use. And one last thing that I want to show you guys is how to get rid of the material that's left over from the terraforming. Now, there's a couple ways you could go about doing this. The first way would be to grab a machine or a bucket that supports stones or whatever material that you guys have obtained, and then scoop those up, put them into a dump truck, and then sell it. Or you could run it through a rock crusher, which will then process it into another material, which could then be sold. The other thing you could do is go into the landscaping tool, and you can actually paint over top of the material to get rid of it. See, this would be really good if you're doing an area and you don't necessarily want to go back over it. You could just hop in the landscape tool and just pretty much paint over it, and this will get rid of any material laying on the ground. So yeah, there you guys go. That's how you set up and use the terraforming mod for FS22. Now, if you guys have any other questions regarding terraforming, feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and here on YouTube. I also have a Discord, which I will link down in the description if you guys want to come ask me some questions or just come hang out, or if you want to be a part of the logging crew. So yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys, and I will see you in the next one.